swept up Snipedown immediately.
Which I think is a great pickup for them. Honestly, Snipedown impressed me in San Diego. He's an incredible skill player, and now he's motivated. Macchio may have a little bit of a fire underneath Snipedown, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens and if that comes back to bite him in the ass.
Well, of course, I think Triggers Down is a much better team as well, but we've also seen more team changes. In Team Classic, they made a big move, dropping their question mark in Fear, and instead, they picked up a veteran from Halo 2 in Naded, who is always an exclamation mark. I'm so pumped to see how this guy performs now amongst the top 4 teams. Now, Naded's going to be doing a great job, but he is not the only newcomer to the squad. Captain Anarchy is replacing Gandhi on Team Carbon. Gandhi, a player who put Carbon on the map, basically, winning the 2006 National Championship, also an amazing sniper. But Captain Anarchy is the new player on Carbon. It's going to be exciting to see how Carbon performs at this event.
Yeah, a lot of people are questioning this move by Carbon, saying, like, maybe they picked up the wrong person, maybe Gandhi wasn't the problem. But you know what? In 2006, a lot of people questioned picking up a player named Ghostayame. And I seem to remember them going on to run the table in 2006. So I'm not going to bet against Carbon. I'm not going to second guess them at all. I think Anarchy will be a good fit, but I think Gandhi's got a lot to prove as well, so it's a lot to look out. I think this whole event is set up to really, show us a lot about what players have inside them going up forward for the rest of the season.
I told you, changes in the air. One team that didn't make any personnel moves is Final Boss, but this is not the same Final Boss we're used to, Sundance.
It's not. It's Final Boss in a new light. They're really being questioned by a lot of people. They're being challenged. They finished in 7th in San Diego, which is new ground for them. And you know what? A lot of people are saying that maybe it's time for them to look at making a change. The reality is this is Final Boss. I would never cut them out, and I was able to talk to Walshy a little bit earlier about that.
All right, Walshy, so I'm sure you're pretty tired of hearing this question, but San Diego, 7th place. What happened to Final Boss?
We definitely overlooked Believe the Hype. We just kind of went that series thinking that they'd just roll over for us, and they did not. So I think that loss just kind of messed with our head the whole weekend, and, we lost a close Game 5 to Triggers Down, so had we not been loser bracket in the first place, it would be a different tournament.
All right, so like you said, you took it for granted. You maybe we're looking ahead. What are you guys doing to make sure that doesn't happen to you here in Orlando?
We've been practicing a lot, kind of revamping a few of our strategies, a couple of our things, especially narrows. We haven't completely figured it out yet, but we definitely are a lot more solid on narrows now because, anytime you lose a Game 5 like that, and that's the reason you lose a tournament, just sort of like Beaver Creek last season, it was like we want to make that perfected so it never happens again. We don't want that in our mind.
All right, so now you as a player, Walsh, you're one of the most famous pros we have here on the circuit. What are you doing individually as a player to make sure your team is ready, that you don't overlook anybody, and that you come out of here with a win?
I've been focused on my individual game a little bit more as much lately because, I don't know. I felt like I've been doing as much as I can for the team, but, we, as a team we're playing good, but I felt like as an individual I could be doing better. So, I've been playing a bit more, and hopefully I get a little more respect this time.
Well, here you go. Walshy, one of the most successful pros on this circuit. I wouldn't bet against you this event. Good luck. We're looking forward to big things.
Thank you.
Walshy both upbeat and pensive at the same time. Is he the same guy coming into tonight?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's motivated. You heard him talk about respect right there. I wouldn't bet against Walshy. Like I said, this is a guy who's used to winning. And you know what? The minute you count him out, he's going to come back and he's going to find a way to get back on top. And I think he's sick and tired of it. He's done nothing but succeed, and suddenly he's called into question. Honestly, it's a team game. And to say that one player is the reason you win or lose, it doesn't work that way. Some people maybe are saying that the Ogres need to get their heads out of their asses. Maybe Strongside wasn't there. But Walshy heard it and he felt it, and you saw it right there. It definitely is affecting him.
Well, I was really annoyed reading some of the posts and everyone talking about how bad Walshy did. They didn't even think about the stats. Walshy plays better than the rest of his teammates against top 8 teams. He had 260 kills in San Diego against top 8 teams, more than the rest of his squad. So I don't know why everyone's putting the blame on Walshy. I don't think it's undeserving. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's form. It's forum talk. It's not the reality. The reality is the pros know what goes on. Final Boss is going to be ready. Walshy's going to be ready for sure.
All right, this is the third event. We've had 2 champions in the first 2. What are you guys expecting tonight? I think both of you are expecting a new champion, right?
Well, I think it's definitely interesting because you look at the Meadowlands, everyone thought Straight was going to win. They came in and underperformed. That Final Boss won. Second event, Straight came back with something to prove, and they dominated. Third event, people are saying Straight's number 1. Maybe they're going to let us down. We got Final Boss and Carbon with a lot to prove.
Well, like you said, the teams with the most to prove They performed well. Final boss in the first event. Straight Rippin coming off that 5th place finish in the first event. Takes first place in San Diego. Now the teams that have the most to prove now are Carbon and Final Boss. And I think Final Boss and the Ogres, they want that number 1 spot once again.
Last thing, don't forget about Instinct and Triggers Down. Triggers Down, a lot to prove, and they're trying to get over that hump.
All right, a lot to keep an eye on. The return of Final Boss, possibly, and a lot of new faces in new places. Our first match is coming up. Breaking Point against Triggers Down. ESPN Saturday Night is back after this.
The 2008 Major League Gaming Pro Circuit, powered by Xbox, is presented by GameStop and brought to you by Bungie, Dr. Pepper, and Stride.